Hi, I'm an Australian living here in Belarus, and I recently made a video titled 2 Reasons Why I Would Marry a Belarusian Woman. Now I'm about to level that up and give you 2 reasons why I would not marry a Belarusian woman, or at least I would tread lightly, tread warily, and be a little bit careful about what you're doing. I'm a great believer in data, right? Data tells you a lot, and you should always base everything from data and then move to interpreting that data rather than the other way around, trying to fit data around what you think. So what I'm going on about here is the macro data in terms of divorces here in Belarus. The divorce rate is over 50%, and people often get remarried, divorce a second time. I actually know an extreme situation of a girl who's 27 who just got married for the 3rd time. So before you even come here, Belarus has a divorce rate that is higher than the USA, higher than Australia, and higher than many Western countries. So this has to send up some red flags. What is wrong here? What is going on here? Belarus is probably a medium level income country, and these places shouldn't have that much divorce. What you find in the world is that as income goes up, divorce goes up. Whereas here the incomes aren't that high, but the divorce rate is sky high. So you know that the institution of marriage is not taken very seriously here if that's the divorce rate, right? I don't want to be too flippant about what I'm saying, but again, more than half of marriages end in divorce. That's showing you that there's no cultural support around the institution of marriage. The second concern I have is noticing, especially here in Minsk, I've heard a lot of girls say something like, I've got more than enough guys chasing me, or I get so much attention from guys, I have so many options. Making these kinds of comments. I remember when I first arrived, the first gym I went into, I remember I was putting on the special shoes you got to wear in the gym, like the plastic sleeves over your shoes you got to wear. And I was just chatting to the girl at the desk, and she said something like this to me. I'm just like, and I'm looking at her and I'm listening to what she's saying, and I'm like, this doesn't quite fit, right? There's something a bit weird going on here. And since then, I've heard a lot of girls say this. I've got all these guys on Instagram, got all these guys on Tinder, got all these guys just fanning over me in some way. I can go to a bar and get all this attention, blah, blah, blah. Now, there's a few problems with this, and let me tell you why I think this is a bit of a problem. First of all, it's an illusion, right? Because the guys that are just like cold DMing girls on Instagram, typically speaking, they're probably guys who aren't getting a lot of attention from girls in the real world. That's why they're just DMing random girls on Instagram, right? So if you've got an inbox full of guys who are the rejects of the dating market, mainly the rejects from the dating market, yeah, okay, you're getting attention as a woman. This makes you feel good, this sense of validation and being wanted, but wanted by who? So what I notice with these women is that they become very indifferent towards men because they feel like they have just an abundance of men, more than they could need in dozens of lifetimes. So they just stop valuing men. It's like a supply and demand thing. And here's what kind of concerns me is that if you marry a woman who's lived with this kind of fantasy that they have unlimited men trumping at them, the inevitable happens in a marriage where you hit tough times, right? Things are uncomfortable, it's a bit rocky, life's not always perfect, right? Things happen, multiple stresses can come onto the family at the same time, and you've got to kind of band together and work it out and try and get through things, right? But if she has a feeling that she can get a better deal somewhere else, then the chance of her leaving is a lot higher. And when you look at research, again, it's all about data. When you look at research into divorce, there's 2 big factors why a woman instigates divorce. One is a decrease in income from the man so that she then earns more than the man. So in other words, if she gets a good promotion or you lose your job, the chance of her instigating divorce go through the roof. And it's just how it is. The data bears this out in multiple countries. And another thing to come out of research on this topic is that people tend to divorce more when they have a change in their pool of options. So if she's constantly getting DM'd by randoms on Instagram, she's got this constant feed of potentials. Again, this is a bit of an illusion. I actually make that a lot of an illusion. But if she feels it, then she may action this when times are kind of tough and maybe things are getting a bit inconvenient for a period of time in your marriage and whatever stage your family's at. Obviously, this is happening all the way around the world, right? This kind of similar pattern. But I've just heard so many girls here in Minsk use these same key phrases. I have more men than I need. I have so many men chasing me. I have this many hundred inbox DMs Instagram this week. Like, there's this narrative here that's really, really strong. So this makes me a bit nervous, right? If you want to go to a country where divorce is already really accepted, it's more than 50% divorce rate, and a situation where girls feel they have this kind of abundance of men, but they actually kind of don't. But they kind of do, they kind of don't, right? This seems to me to be very destable in terms of wanting a family unit and trying to raise some children together. Again, this is just themes, right? This is not every single girl from Belarus, blah, 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 blah. But these are a couple of themes that are kind of in the mix that you should be aware of. So do watch my video, 2 reasons why I would marry a Belarusian girl, and that'll give you a more balanced perspective on what you might want to do in the future. I know there are a lot of guys here, a lot of foreign guys, especially Western guys, that are living in Belarus, and they've married a Belarusian girl and now live often in small towns around the place here in Belarus. So if you're watching, if you got through that and you watched it, I'd love to hear your experiences. Tell us about your experiences, because I've heard some great stories where it's worked out really well 15, 20 years later. It's fantastic and they're really happy. Everyone's happy it's worked well. I've heard some horror stories of where things have ended really ugly, in a really bad fashion, and things have gotten very unfortunate around children and so forth like this. So if you've had the experience, if you're here, if you've been married for a period of time to a Belarusian girl, or if you're a Belarusian girl watching this and you married a foreigner and you've been married for some time, or if you're divorced, tell me your story. Please write it down in the comment section. Let people hear firsthand from people with firsthand experience. So as I said at the start, I've been living here for almost 1 year now, so I've got a pretty good grip on things here, and I've made a lot of videos about Belarus. So if you're wanting to learn more about this country and its culture, feel free to watch some of my other videos, and if you enjoy them, do consider subscribing to my channel.